Curious about buying an investment property for only 5% down? Let's check it out today webinar. Welcome everyone to my home buyer webinar. I do have a little bit technical difficulty for the last 20 minutes and couldn't log in and couldn't talk. So I hope that it's not too late for everyone who are attending live. And today the topic is very clear. A lot of people want to buy investment property, right? Buy property first of all, okay, but also some people want to make wealth with the investment property as well. So today webinar I actually show you a method that I actually use myself to buy investment property for only 5% down. So let's check it out what I have. Okay, so first of all, please allow me to introduce who I am. I am Longley, a real estate agent, the team lead of the Magical Success Realty team brokerage with Platinum Living Realty. I'm also an investor myself as well. I buy home and rented it out as a long-term rental. Okay, I've been doing this for the last 5 years and helping a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers in real estate transactions. And I do understand the importance of making wealth with real estate. And today I would like to share with you one of my personal strategy to actually get my third long-term rental property with only 5% down. Let's check it out to see what I have. Okay. All right. So step number one. We're gonna dive right into step the step, right? Step number one. Make sure that you are able to save 1,000. Okay. This is considered the emergency fund only. Okay. Some of you may ask why 1,000? Right? It's not even enough to buy anything nowadays anymore. Long, not to mention about buying a house, but it's mainly for in emergency fund. Okay, but it's also helping you building up the discipline habit in yourself. Okay, because if you are buying a house, take in a lot of responsibility. Okay, financial responsibility specifically, and if you are not be able to even save $1,000, don't talk about buying a property, buying a house, because you have to do the down payment, the closing costs, the repair, the maintenance, everything later on, the utilities bills, and the cost to advertise for real estate transaction, but to looking for a tenant, right? So if you're not be able to achieve step number one, right, we have to have another conversation. But the reason why I also set 1,000 is not too big, it's not too small. It's a good enough challenge for those of you who are starting in this. Okay. Some of you may ask, what if I already have 2,000? Great, congratulations. Let's skip right into step number two. Step number two is a little bit organized, more organized of your financial situation, which means you're gonna pay off your bad debt. All right. What is bad debt? Bad debt is something that you owe, and you have to pay more than the amount that you owe. For example, if you buy something to wear, clothes, then you use a credit card, right? And then you don't pay off the balance, you end up paying the interest on top of the balance of the original clothes. And therefore, that clothes is actually you have to pay more for that if you use by cash, right? So those are considered bad debt, and you have to eliminate those because they are considered financial burden for your real estate um, investing journey, right? The higher the loan, the higher the debt, the lower the loan amount that you can pay. So the sooner you pay off those debts, the better for you. How you are going to do that? And actually, I took advice from Dave Ramsey, which is one of the um, financial experts in the US, right? I really like his strategy in terms of how to pay off my bad debt, how to pay off bad debts, right? Just specify, list out all the loan from lowest to highest and start paying off from the lowest to the top, right? Some of you may ask, what if the top has a higher interest rate? Should I pay that one first? Well, it's the reason why Dave Ramsey recommend to pay off the smallest to the top first is because it's easier for you and it's create the momentum of growth rather than if you dump jump right into the big one, you may feel tired, you may feel not encouraging because it takes forever for you to pay. And that's the reason why we should pay it off. Okay. Number three, step number three, save 5% down. This is the down payment that you need to pay, obviously, to buy the property, right? So as you see, step one, two, and three, there's nothing relating to the house because we need to have the foundation to get ready to to be motivated for the following step, right? One is to that as a start, right? It's small enough. 1,000 is small enough for you to get started. Number two, to pay off all the debt. It's easier for you to get the mortgage. And number three, save 5,000. I'm sorry, 5% down. Some of you may ask, how much is 5% down? That is a great question for your real estate agent in that local area. You can talk to them, anyone, and ask for their opinion, right? Tell them, I want to buy this house, this house, this house in this location. How much? What is the median sale price for that? All right, let's say 400. That means 5% is 20,000. Right? You reverse engineer to calculate that amount of that payment. 20,000 going to be your goal if you are looking for a property around 400 in that area, right? So after you done 1, 2, 3 to prepare for financial situation, we actually going to go to step number 4, which is buying a primary home. Talking to here, some of you may say, Long, you lied to me. I thought that you said that you're going to buy an investment property. But to be honest with you, I, to be able to buy a truly investment property, you do have to do, you are required to do 20% at the minimum if you do a truly investment home right away, right? But if you don't have anything, if you haven't owned any property before, it is perfectly fine for you to actually buy a primary home first because a couple of reasons, right? Number one, you only have 5% down, right? Number two, owning a primary home, at least you're gonna be able to find out, understand, know the process of how to buy a house from A to Z, right? So that help you learning the process. This step 4 right here is learning the process. But for those of you who are about to click on the X of the webinar, wait for it, right? Because we're still in 3 more steps, and I will show you how you actually convert this one to an investment property later. Okay. Step 4 is go through the process of home buying a house, get the primary home, and go into step number 5. Okay, this is the fun part of owning real estate. When you own a house, you can actually share a room, share a place, share the backyard, share everything, maybe share a casita, right? Then you can earn some extra income from that. The reason why is that it's going to help you pay a portion of your mortgage payment. And some of you may say, I already have money, I don't need extra. Well, that could be an extra money for the down payment of the future property as well, right? What if someone who say, I'm not feeling comfortable of sharing a room? I don't know. It's not for me. I don't want to leave. So it's someone else. Great, that's fine. Let's just skip this step completely, right? But keep in mind, this one is an additional source of income for you when you share a room. Okay, and then when you do share, you actually have an expense on that, and it will reduce the tax that you are obligated to pay as well. We don't have much time to talk about the tax obligation, but if you do have any question about that, feel free to text me or comment in the section below. I will be more than happy to share with that. Okay. Step number 5 is basically a pause in the journey going to step number 6 and step number 7. We do have to have a additional payment, additional money saved up for the next payment, for the next step, right? If you already have your good amount of income put into the saving account, that's great. You don't have to do step number 5 if you're not feeling comfortable with that. Step number 6, after a long period of time owning a house, you have to, you can do something called refinance gas cash. This is, I think at the minimum you have to wait for 1 year unless it is the market grow crazily, okay, or unless you have a really good deal from when you bought the house, right? Then you can your equity already increased. The idea is that your equity have to increase, the market value of the property has to increase, so that you can see a big gap between the market value and the amount that you owe. And then you get the refinance, get the extra cash out to do what? To go to step number 7, which is buy the second house, which is you're gonna use the second house as the primary home again, and converting property number 1, entire property number 1, into a truly rental property. That is how you, and then the property number 1, right? You only put down 5%. So that is exactly how we buy an investment property for only 5%. That is very simple, straightforward 7 step. I know here it is again. The 7 step in 5% down. Step number 1, save for 1,000. Step number 2, pay off the bad debt. Step number 3, save for 5% down. Again, 1, 2, 3 is a financial foundation for you to get the property. Step 4, buy a primary home, to help you understand the process as well as to utilize the minimal amount of down payment that you have to put in, which is 5%. Step number 5, get extra income so that you can save much faster. Step number 6, refinance, get cash, get back the 5% at the minimum, right, that you put into step number 4, and then use that exact 5% or even more by saving up in step number 5, right, to buy the second house and rent out the first house. Those are the 7 steps that I actually use to acquire my third rental property. And I'm grateful. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today webinar. And if you do have any question, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to share the information with you. Thank you. Bye bye.